is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 6T3. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by. I've almost got that thing down pat. I have got my intro lock, stock. Got it. If you didn't mind hitting a like on the video sometime or subscribing to the channel if you're new here. If you are new here, welcome. We talk about tips and tricks and all sorts of things, karting etiquette and theorem and stuff like that. And that's kind of what today's video is about. Aggression, good, bad, the pros, cons of this thing. I have had a quite the history of aggressive driving in my 20 years of racing, whether that's good, whether that's bad. I have a couple stories to share with you, probably on the bad side, but on the learning side as well. So I thought this would be a good topic, especially for your new racers. You know, there are people out there that are win at all cost, and you know, if you wreck somebody to get the win, so be it, type of thing. And
I'm sorry, winning. You starting to get the concept now? Oops. Winning.
You don't care. The win is everything. Well, the thing about that is it can cost you in the long run. So I thought I would just get up here and talk about it a little bit, and we'll kind of see how these stories fold out. Okay, aggression. I am an aggressive driver. There is a fine line between being dirty and being aggressive to your betterment, to, you know, improve your position on track, or roughing somebody else up. I said that really weird. Roughing somebody else up. That's better. Anyway, so in the beginning, I don't think I've ever maliciously driven aggressive. Now, I will say this. I say I'm an aggressive driver because I am an opportunist. If a hole opens up, I'm probably going to shove my nose in there. I'm going for the position. Sometimes it's not the best idea, and sometimes, you know, one could say you're probably driving over your head. Maybe I was driving over my head a little bit, but at the time you see a hole open up, somebody gets out of the groove, you think there's room to get in there, and you go for it. Well, then there's contact, and then that person's upset with you, or, you know, you take them out, or you take yourself out. You know, there's better decisions come with time, and that you're going to have to learn how to hone that aggression level. So it's funny that we're going to run it turkey trot this year, because this story actually comes from that. I've been running US a long time. I was starting to get my feet under me with speed. So I'm racing, you know, my friends, Bobby Baldwin, Beef, the Gallup brothers, particularly Ben Gallup, one of the fastest people I've ever faced up in the Northeast here. And we were at Turkey Trot. Well, my tires were a little too hard for the surface that night. So when my tires came on, I was coming through the pack. Well, when I was coming through the pack, I was not intentionally trying to move people. I was just so fast. They, you know, maybe their tires are falling off. My speed was coming on as either theirs was stagnating or it was falling off, and I was getting into everybody coming through. I ended up second in the race, but more so the old line from Days of Thunder came to a point, and Ben Gallup's father was just like, "You hit everything but the flag stand out there, bud." And it was true. It was true. I didn't know how to harness this new speed. I had finally, you know, been comfortable driving. I had found a good setup on my chassis. My engine was running just right. And this newfound speed, I didn't know what to do with. So essentially, I was just going through people, and it was not making my competitors and friends, because these people that I race with were my friends. We hang out, you know, all day long, and then we go out and compete on track. And I didn't want to make them mad, but I didn't quite know how to, you know, to harness that, because I want to go that same speed. But how do I do that without running into people? So that's harnessing that aggression, that you have to be aggressive. It's a 20-lap sprint. It is not a, you know, it's not a Daytona 500. You don't have 500 laps to get this done. You have 20 laps to get this done. But harnessing that aggression to get the most speed out of your kart versus running into people, possibly taking them out. This is something you're really going to have to weigh. And honestly, it's just something you're going to have to learn. If you choose the aggressive side, you're going to have to deal with some very upset people off of track, possibly on track. Because if that person gets back to you, careful. It's one thing to just like, hey man, Rubbin's racing and you're in my way and I'm moving you. Well, if your tires fade, if lap track gets in your way, if something holds you up, if you miss a line and they get back to your bumper, don't be mad that they repaid the favor. That's just kind of that point. But I wanted to tell that story. I have been aggressive most of the 20 years that I've raced, but I think it's opportunist. It's not so much a dirty driver type of thing. Some of my competitors, things have happened and they might think, otherwise, that I tend to run into them specifically on purpose, but I don't think that's the case. Okay, number 2 story I have here is, I'm not picking on him at all. I just, up front, my buddy Eddie Mitchell, we ran together many moons ago at Paradise Speedway in Yamaha. And then I was lucky enough to get back racing with Eddie again this past 2 years before apparently Paradise is just done. That track is no more, maybe, fingers crossed, sometime in the future. Anyway, his dad and Eddie used to come to the track, and they had, really good equipment. They had Phantom chassis. They had a Buller-built KT100. And my dad and I were just getting into this. Well, he had come from what I understand, from flatheads. Well, there's a lot more, rubbing and bumping in flatheads. The speeds are a little slower. It's especially at Paradise Speedway, it was like Daytona, it's a bump draft type of scenario. To whereas I think you can, you use that aggression a little more. Well, when he got to the KT100 class, he was running into everybody. And because he was much like my case, he was a lot faster or finding his bearings to where he was getting to that point that he could, get to people and move them up out of the way and get going type of thing. Well, bad things came to worse. I had said something to my dad like, hey, I keep on getting hit by it. And my dad, of course, is, you're just whining, just get faster type of thing. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know how to get faster back then. I was just learning back in those days. So finally, I guess he had witnessed this happen. Eddie's just in every corner, my head's snapping back and everything. Well, Eddie had cleared me. My dad cleared me. He saw the whole thing go on, and he cleared out Eddie as well. And spun, and there was not an altercation. There was a discussion with Eddie and his father after the race, and a bunch of people were quite upset at the way he was racing everybody else. Fast forward to maybe it was even the next race, the next couple races. Eddie cleaned it up. He stopped running in people. He got by everybody, and he dominated that class. He honed that aggression. That he just needed to be a little more patient with the people around him. And then once he did that, he was able to check out on us. He was I had nothing for him back then. Absolutely, he was one of the fastest KT100s I've ever seen go around Paradise Speedway. Fast forward, 20 years ish. And I got the race against Eddie again. He beat me. He's still fast. It's that thing where it takes time. It takes being spoken to, like, hey man, just not even in a mean sense, not yelling at, not everything, just come up like, hey man, you would be a lot faster if you stop running into people. It is faster to go around people than it is to go through people. I know it's a simple concept, but it is true. If you're using that aggression, use it properly. You have to look ahead, all right? Pay attention. Really watch a person's line when they're lifting off the berm, when you can get back to the throttle, when you can use that aggression to take the line away from me. Or away from me. You could take it away from me, I guess. Take it away from somebody else. But, there's another one of the stories I wanted to bring to you guys. So, in conclusion, I am aggressive. I am Aggressive Drivers Anonymous. I'm going to start a club. And, but seriously, if you really, truly want to get faster, if you know how aggressive you have to be on track in order to have that speed, how aggressively you have to attack that corner, you have to be mindful of everyone around you. Unless you want to be that guy. Unless you want to be that racer that just doesn't care. I am here to get the job done. I don't care if I wipe you out. I can tell you it's not going to go well for as long as you think it is. It really isn't. I would much rather be beat by somebody who is respectful than somebody who's just an arrogant ass, and just taking out people. And, for the person being hit, I don't know. I rarely have ever come off the track and been upset with somebody because they got into me. Of course it sucks. I don't want to be taken out. I don't want to be looped. I don't want to be gotten into. Do I think it's, it's just like uncalled for type of thing? Yes, but I'm of the mentality that it doesn't do that much good unless I can come at it like a man. If I can say, hey man, could you, maybe back off the bumper a little bit, but I've never screamed. I've never carried on. It's ridiculous. I hate to say, I hate to see it. I hate to say it. This is when you come off track and people are fighting and what have you. It's kart racing. It is kart racing. I know we have a lot of money invested. Between my racing partner here, Walt, and myself, do you know how much money is sitting right there? And right there. Those two places. I don't want to have my stuff torn up any more than you. I don't want, this thing, I don't want to do it to you, but things happen on track. Just if we can all be a little more respectful. We know it's a 20-lap sprint. Everybody's going to be aggressive. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to do as good as they can. Try and hone it just a little bit. I promise you, you will get faster. The people who run up front are not super dirty. I know it's tough back in the back of the pack. I've been there. I still am there sometimes. When we go to big national events, I'm not up to that elite speed yet. And it gets sketchy back there. But once you get towards the front, once you can hone that aggression, once you can find your speed and what it takes to, work your way around people without moving them, without, being that ass on stage, it will do worlds for you. So, again, with the TED Talk, I'm never up on a soapbox. Anytime I ever do one of these videos, I don't ever want you to think that, oh, he's up there preaching. I'm not preaching. I'm trying to help you. This is, it really is tough to see people screaming at one another, see people trying to take one another out on track on purpose. There's a lot of money invested. And even if you don't have a lot of money invested, it's dangerous. It's just plain dangerous. Please try and control yourself. And I'll still be aggressive, but more on the opportunist side. Like I've said, I can't help it, man. If the seas part and two carts go this way, I'm just gonna try and go there best I can. But sometimes if you watch my videos, you do see I'm willing to check up. I'm willing to hit the brakes and try not to run into somebody without that. It doesn't mean it always happens. No, of course not. I've run into my fair share of competitors, but if anything, if you can learn anything from my videos, try and listen to the throttle and whether or not I'm trying to stay off them or not. So, all right, guys, I've trailed on enough with this conversation. Probably got lost 10 minutes ago. I'm sorry. It happens. But I'll see you guys Thursday for a new video. All right? All right. Catch you later.